So I'd just like very briefly to, first of all, thank all our speakers, to Paul and Rebecca there, and for all my colleagues on the Blueprint team for what's been an absolutely fascinating conference. I think you'll agree. Just a couple of things that struck me from this morning, which I just want to bring back into our minds before we close. Just going back to what Mike Rake said, a couple of things that really struck me there. How important it is that the purpose journey becomes real. Andrew Hill, who writes from the Financial Times, read a piece after Davos in January in which he said, this purpose stuff, the risk is it becomes the fad of the year, and in the year's time, oh yeah, I got a purpose, we've all got purposes, and it becomes something which has lost its power. At the moment, it's a really powerful conversation, and the key thing is that it becomes real, so that companies that wish to do this take it seriously and are seen to take it seriously. That will be transformative. The other thing Mike said, which I just want to reflect back, was how this is a difficult thing, will take time. It's not something you can do overnight. It's not something you'll get results even a year, which is why for the Blueprint, our whole thrust and thinking is 5-10 years. This is a big transformational process which will take a long time, and we want to be part of that journey and encouraging a culture change within business more widely. John Kay had a couple of lovely lines, you'll recall. Did you hear that how he ended? He just said, profit is no more the purpose of business than breathing is the purpose of life. Fantastic, fantastic phrase. And then the investor panel, a couple of things that struck me there were the big takeaway from the research that's been done, and it is baby steps, as Ben Andrade was saying, towards looking at the extent to which you can measure these principles, and there are a lot of flaws in the way this can be done at the moment. But the key takeaway is that there's no trade-off. Insofar as the evidence shows it, there is absolutely no trade-off between being seriously purpose-driven and being profitable over time. But the second thing is, and you could see it in the way that conversation and the questioning around the investor panel, was the importance of a much better dialogue between investors and companies around these kinds of things. And one of the things that we do hope the Blueprint can do is to help increase the quality of debate and dialogue about the business journey, both in public and the press, but also between investors and companies. And I'm glad to say that James McPherson at BlackRock has said that he would be very happy to host a meeting which we will be doing at BlackRock in the new year to take that conversation forward. So we're not going to be producing a metric. In answer to Hans, your question earlier on, what's the next stage with investors? We're not going to be in the business of producing new metrics. That's not our forte. That's not what we should be doing. But we can and should be part of the conversation between companies and investors. So, as I said at the beginning, this morning, the three ways in which the Blueprint is working, there are three things we're doing. We're connecting. We're doing that through the NGOs, as Louise was talking about, through business schools, through research, which we're working on at the moment, a research plan with business schools next year. The whole point is what we can achieve together is so much more than can be achieved by companies or individuals on their own. And we will be working with investors. We have a coaching program, which I mentioned, which we will be doing next year. Please look on our website about that if you're interested in it. We will be putting on 4 courses for companies who are on the Blueprint journey to learn from one another and to forge a network. And we will also be working with coaches next year as well. And the third thing we do is to challenge, and I just want to end with that. It's a challenge to businesses. We are very, very privileged and fortunate to have a number of businesses who have committed to the Blueprint. Unilever, Vodafone, Hermes, Old Mutual, all of whom we've heard from today. I was run by a partner from PwC yesterday, having had a conversation with Ian Powell last week, to say that PwC are committing to the Blueprint principles. And Loughlin and I are in direct conversation with 14 UK multinationals at the moment. So we're on the road, which is a wonderful start. But today really is a call to action. We've tested these principles. We've had enough conversations with people to realize that they help, they can make a difference. But it's a movement, as I said this morning. It's an independent movement, and movements are about people and their own personal commitment. So my challenge, please, to everybody here today is to read our principles and framework. Don't pass them down the corridor. It's a personal as well as an organizational challenge. And please join us. Thank you.